go. So, okay, Nick, if you'd like to introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Nick Cooke. I'm lucky enough to be one of the speakers at the NCH conference this year. I'm really happy about that. I have been a hypnotherapist for many years. In fact, I trained about 30 years ago, and I'm also a trainer in hypnotherapy and a trainer and practitioner in mindfulness, and I'm the principal of the UK College of Mindfulness Meditation, and also the principal of Central England College, which is a hypnotherapy training organisation in Birmingham. And I have a mix of what I do in my life of offering therapy and one-to-one teaching, as well as running training programs as well, both face-to-face and online also, which I have been doing for the last few years. How about that?
That is excellent, thank you. So if somebody joins your session for the conference, what would you hope they would take from it?
Okay, well, my session at the conference is on the subject of ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy, which is an amazingly innovative way of working. Innovative, even though it's been around for quite a while, but it's really only come into the fore in the last few years. It's a way of relating the skills of mindfulness with those of therapy in a very engaging way, a very playful way. I personally think that therapy can be a bit of a serious business, a bit of a heavy business for many people. And if we can do something which is engaging and creative, and also has a sense of playfulness about it, then I think we can often achieve quite a lot more. So that's something that I hope people will take from it. It's also very unusual as a way of working for a therapist, because usually we are trying to change something. We're trying to get rid of something. That's what therapists do. Can you help me get rid of this anxiety? Can you help me get rid of this depression, this fear? With ACT, and it's called ACT rather than the letters ACT, because it is about taking action. So the word ACT comes into play here. What ACT teaches us, and which I hope people will take away and be a good reason for viewing my session at the conference, will be that sometimes learning to accept is a very important part of this. To accept sometimes that there are things that we can't change, and also to learn to move in a value-directed way towards the things that are really important to us in life. That's a little different from goals and goal setting. Goals may be the end result of this, but it's more about the qualities of the way that we can look at the values, the things that are important to us, the things that we would most hate to give up in our life, and also that we'd most want to move towards. So those are two very important reasons. We've got within my presentation, I'm hoping to share a number of specific tips, as I've called them, or techniques for therapies. One, for example, would be something that I learned from the originators of ACT, Stephen Hayes and others, which is known as a struggle switch. Do you ever find that you struggle? And this is something that, as therapists, we will ask our client, or our clients will tell us, they constantly struggle, and it's their thoughts which struggle. And maybe if we could, as a metaphor, imagine that we have a struggle switch, something up there which we could just turn from. And of course, it sounds too ridiculously simple, doesn't it? But there again, quite a few of the techniques in therapy, the ones that work best, in my opinion, whether that's from NLP or solution-focused therapy or cognitive approaches, some of the best ones are the ones which are really simple. So I'm hoping to cover a number of really simple interventions which just use the imagination a little, and where people can make changes very quickly if they choose to do so. So that's something, Alan, that I'm hoping to do.
That's very powerful stuff, and I love how internal locus of control you've got going there. What I thought of as you were talking was, would a lay person be able to get stuff from this, or is it more directed at therapists?
It is more directed at therapists, that's for sure, as it's the NCH conference. But I know we do get some lay people who come along, and I think that one of the books that I found most helpful, along with my training in ACT, is very much a self-help guide by a psychologist called Russ Harris. But it's a brilliant book for people who want to learn, and I hope to pick up some of the ideas contained in his work. I've done some training with him. I hope to pick up some of the ideas contained in his work to share. Things which really anybody can pick up and anybody can use to help themselves. And although we say it's not about change, not about deliberately about changing, sometimes we find that if we don't focus too hard on change, and if we focus on acceptance and moving in valued directions, that change happens. It happens, although it may not be the main way we go about the work. And that will apply to lay people just as much as to therapists as well.
Excellent.
So I was going to say, I'm hoping that there'll be a number of things in the way of tools which people can pick up, practical things which they could begin to use either for themselves or in their therapy work, almost immediately, really. I'll be providing some notes to go along with my presentation, which I think is something which is quite popular when speakers do that, to give people a little bit of support and help in taking this forward, so that right away they could start using some of these ideas.
That is awesome. Thanks, Nick. That's brilliant, because we've got the ACT happening in there. It's based on a mindfulness approach to therapy, and like you say, yes, mostly directed at counsellors and therapists, but if you happen to be a layperson dropping in, there'll be some handy